Howdy, howdy, everyone. Welcome to Babble with Bronies here on our Wednesday episode. Due to scheduled conflicts on both Sundays, the 10th and the 17th, we're broadcasting here on Wednesday. Sixth episode in. I'll warn you, the connection is not good here. So bear with us. There will be lag. There will be delays. There will be all that fun jazz that goes along with this connection here. But doesn't mean we can't have a good time still. So let's get started, shall we? As per normal, I always love to start with the news, and we've got quite a bit to go through here, folks. So, yeah, even for a Wednesday episode, Wednesday episodes, I always imagine them to be a lot quieter. But, yeah, I know, Mr. Ben, but I want it that way. For those of you who are in, well, that's because of the lighting, Mr. Ben. And no, my face is not ugly. Anyway, for those of you who run Source Filmmaker, there's some new resources that have been handed out lately. I'll send you the article here. Boink. We are good friends at Discord's domain. Bit of a while ago. I went, the week here was from last Sunday till today. But anyway, someone's released a bunch of new stuff for y'all to play with on Source Filmmaker. There's a download folder there. Go nuts. Like I said, if that's your thing, go nuts. I'd love to get into that one day myself, but this comes first. Anyway, for those of you who ordered early, who had, what was it? So let me pull it up. The Brony documentary discs are finally being shipped. I'll read a quick summary of it. Long story short, if you earned it from the Kickstarter, or actually, yeah, if you just earned it from the Kickstarter or you ordered it, they're finally being shipped. So here's the link for if you want to read the whole thing. Yeah, I know, Venher. But again, I just love these inconsistencies. I really, really do. Anyway, let's move along here. You see, that's that's kind of why I bring those announcements on my Twitter and Facebook page as to when, we're going 30 minutes to airtime. But if you guys want in on that, I'll give it to you at the end of the show. And last but not least, again, concerning the Brony documentary, that's going to be shown at the Kansas City Film Fest. So for those of you in Kansas City, Missouri, here's the link. Long story short, they'll be having a film fest, and the Brony documentary will be in there. Boop. 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 Anyway, so if you're going to the Kansas City Film Fest, the Brony documentary will be in there. I do have to ask, folks. I'm seeing it. I'm seeing all your comments here. I do have to ask, folks. I sure hope the good people of Kansas City are, well, good and take it. And I'm just expecting the worst here. Boo! Get off the stage! Kind of things. But I don't think that's all in the heart and the spirit of it. I think it'll be fine. Oh, by the way, if you're there, there's also going to be if I recall right, a Q&A with I know Ms. Faust and Mr. Delancey will be there, and I think like one or two other people from the show will be there for a Q&A after the showing. All right, now I want to get into our some announcements. and journals and all that fun jazz. As promised, the Doctor Who voting page is up on our website. I'll just send you the direct link there. There you go. It was up since Sunday, so I did keep my word on this. Anyway, if you don't know what I'm talking about, on the 31st, we are planning Babble with Bronies is planning an April Fool's Day joke. Sort of. We will be showing a Doctor Who episode because Mr. Ben and I are such big fans of the show that I decided to, April Fools. Yeah, twi. Anyway, I decided to say, let's show a Doctor Who episode, and we'll do just an episode analysis just like we have with the Pony episodes. So, I decided, instead of me or even just us, Mr. Ben and me, picking one, I thought, why not have you guys pick it? So, pick one from the list and have fun with it. We'll announce the winner on the 24th and show it on the 31st. So, hope to see you there, even if you're not a Doctor Who fan. All right. RDIBP? Yes. 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 Why don't I go with Inky Notebook's journal here? She's just making an announcement for the last call for BAP. If any of you have any connections with Inky Notebook and her Traveling Pony Museum, there's the link to the journal. Basically, a lot of artists have said they wanted to participate in the museum but have not sent me any work. We still need some other good stuff, as she says, sculptures and 3D work. Basically, if you can still send work, it has to be here by the 21st of March, seeing as Big Apple PonyCon is the 22nd to the 24th. But anyway, the point is if you want any participation with her, send her a message and then eventually send her your work. A live-action Super Smash Brothers brawl. Just don't have me play as Marth, Mr. Ben. And this one, I'm not sure if I want it technically counts, but I do kind of want to share it. Toxic Mario posted a journal concerning his future with the with conventions. For those of you who aren't aware, he went to Unicon in Las Vegas and suffered just as bad as suffered pretty bad financially in particular. So he's just giving his future here, and the meat of the journal is he's either going to succeed at Big Apple PonyCon and continue going to other pony-specific conventions, or he's going to go, here, I'll send you the link, or he's going to have to really step back his pony conventions substantially. So, like I said, go ahead and read it, but if you're going to BAP, tell him hi from me and maybe buy something from him. Give him some support. I think we're going to go with videos this time because I just want to get those done with before we get to the art. So sorry for all the artists who are here. I apologize to all the artists who are here looking for their work to be shown. But I want to get the videos out of the way because I don't know when we're going to get to them. So here we go with the videos. First one is from Carbon Maestro, titled Buffalo Nation. Buffalo Nation by Carbon Maestro. What the? Venner, what the? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's terrible. That's hilarious in the same. Oh my. Okay. Okay. Let's move on here. This next one is Hurricane Fluttershy by Vifex. Hurricane Fluttershy by VFX. All right, now we get to the art. Got a lot of new faces and a lot of old faces here, folks. First one I want to get to is sort of a mashup. Well, two artists are involved in this first one here. Its artist is Twilight is Magic and Desi X29. First one is Ponification OC Starbright. For those of you wondering, this is Twilight is Magic's OC, his Pony Sona. I'm going to let this one speak for itself on my behalf, but Twilight is Magic and Desi, do you two have anything to say about it? Give them a minute to type, folks. I love the color scheme, but then again, I'm a bit of a sucker for blue. Anything, since you made this, Desi, I have to ask: do you do commissions, or would you take requests, that kind of thing? Hear that, folks? She'll take commissions and requests, so look her up. The picture. I didn't even send the picture. I apologize. Has a link to her page, so go nuts. In the meantime, let's move on. Also by Twilight is Magic. This one's a bit this one is I don't even know how to say it without sounding inappropriate. Not sexually inappropriate, just it'd be like me trying to discuss quantum physics. I don't know much about it. So this one is the concept design, Harmony VTOL Shuttle. Twilight is Magic, would you kindly tell us a little bit about this? If you can give us a skinny, that would be okay. If not, I'll do my best to explain everything. Designees had in his head part of an alternate universe. Okay. Diesel Punk Equestria. Alright. Coolio. Well, we'll be looking forward to it in the course report on here. There's the link. Anything you want to say, Twilight is Magic, before we move on? Okay. Yeah, I just noted them. The top one's funny. All right, let's move on, folks. Because it'd be so true, Mr. Ben. All right, let's go with this first one by Desi. This BAPC exclusive poster by Citra 360. For those of you going to Big Apple Pony Con, Citra will be selling these posters there. You can only get them in hard print, according to him, if you buy it there. I'm not sure about ordering it, though, so you might want to talk to him about that. I don't think he takes orders, so if you can't make it, you're screwed out of luck. However, if you are going to BAPC, check this out. And if you like what you see, well, buy it from him, of course. I have to say, interesting idea doing the whole King Kong thing. Makes sense. Alright, moving along. I have 3 of them here by our good friend at Incinerator. First one is titled Luna's Bath. I warn you, this is going to be cute. I'll just let that one speak for itself. All right, let's let's move along here. Next one is titled 8 Bits. These next 2 are requests for their Once Pony Sona. But I thought I'd share them because this one in particular is pretty darn unique. 8 Bits has a piranha plant for a tail. How has that not eaten him yet? Suppose you could say that, Twilight is Magic. I'm not sure of the story, so I'm assuming check out 8 Bits' DA page, and we'll and see what that's all about. I'm guessing, like I said, we'll move on here. Next one is titled Chocolate Milkshake. Just a second, folks. This is she's named Lightning Rod. I'm not sure of the person, but the OC is named Lightning Rod. Yeah, what an interesting design, especially the mane and tail. You rarely see that, but I think that's cool. I really do. Oh, Mr. Ben. Venher. Anyway, moving along here. Oh, which one should we go with next? Which one? Okay, why don't we do that? These next two are by Death Pony, and they're not art in so much as just one's an announcement and one's just kind of a future scope or just a hangover for when he actually gets back to drawing. I'm not 100% sure of why he isn't right now, but I'm not going to ask. For those of you going to Galicon in August, I think it is, he'll be selling these buttons there. I know he's going to Galicon, so again, if you're going there, for all you lucky folks going there, check him out. You can't miss him. He's selling these buttons. Plus, he's also open for suggestions. So if you look through his work and you say, hey, why don't you make this a button? He might just take you up on it. He has such an eye for detail, Twilight is Magic. Strategy, what are you talking about? The yay has been doubled. Okay, we'll look on that into the next episode then. But for now, let's move on. Anyway, that holdover I was talking about is titled Behold, Behold. I'm just gonna let this one kind of speak for itself. He's working with a new program currently that's allowing him to do more 3D models and effects. So this is, like I said, just more of a preview of anything. But I thought, since I haven't shown him in a long time, I thought I'd show him. All right. These next ones, okay, I did get that, and I got to exit out of there. Okay, let's go with the new guy here. Next one is by, I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly, Raiko Illust, The Kindness of Fluttershy. Quote, Fluttershy taking care of Scootaloo after she bruised her hoof, probably from falling off from her scooter. Yeah, a bit of a DAW one here, folks. And there we go. Yeah, I'm sure a lot of you saw this one. I saw this one, I thought, I gotta put this one on my show. I really do. I've been watching him for a while now. I think it's time I put him on here. One thing I will say that I do like about him is he has a really good eye for light. If you haven't checked his workout, folks, check it out. He's got his own kind of unique style based on a lot of lighting effects. Well, just take a look at this one for crying out loud to get an example of it. But check out his work. He's done a lot of pony stuff. Moving along. Oh, do I? Oh, all right. Wait, no. Huh, I'll be. I've only got one comic in here. So do you want me to do it now or save it for the end, folks? Got one for save it. Do it now. Why does that always happen? I say, let's, 3 for save it. I always ask you guys, and first one it's A, then the next guy it's B. I love you guys for that. Okay, so it looks like we're saying save it. All right. Oh, why don't we go by these next ones? Next two are by Vardis Touch. First one is a commission titled Incanterlot. 1, 2, 3. Again, this one I'm not 100% sure on just because it's a commission, and Vardis is not one to, she's not one to go into long explanations about things. I think she just lets the work speak for itself. However, you can check in with the commissioner about what this picture is all about. Really good work with the light here on this one. And yeah, Vardis always has a way with eyes. And this one being no exception. I'm just giving everyone diabetes today, aren't I? Anyway, I like the main scheme, the main's color scheme, that blonde and white. Moving along. Now this next one by her is titled Nothing Will Ever Be the Same. I need to do a little bit of background before I show this one. For those of you who are watching Vardis, you probably know exactly what I'm referring to. However, for those of you who don't, let me explain. Again, just kind of reading the text by the off chance. Earlier in the week, she recreated some scenes from the show. I didn't show them on the show because it was kind of a collage, putting them all in. So I thought, why don't I just show this finished piece? And if you guys want, you can find the individual pieces on her DA page. But here we go. Nothing will ever be the same. Basically, she's recreating the scene from the season 3 finale. Those pictures in the background are what I'm referring to. You can find them in her on her page. So if you want the individual piece, go for it. But if not, well, here's the finished piece. I'm not sick. I'm really not. Probably just my accent more than anything. Anyway, one of the biggest things I've always loved about Vardis Touch's work, she should be a trading card maker. Why? They look like holofoils, and I swear if you turn your monitor just right, there's a light, changing the lighting on the holofoil. But overall, I'll let this one speak for itself otherwise. The link. I thought they already did that, Mr. Well, maybe not something like Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Pokemon, but I know there are trading cards. Alright, moving along. Okay, I think I'll do effects next. We've got 4 of them by him this time, and 2 of them are commissions. The other 2 are his personal stuff. I'm going to start with the commissions. This first one is a commission titled Like a Flutter. Yeah, I'm going to let this sink in for a minute. Quote, my first commission in a long time. Flutter, sir. Let me know what you think. I say, old chap. 'Tis a quaint day outside, no? Yay, old chap. Anyway, this was something I find interesting. Sleep to Fade was the guy who commissioned this. For those of you who don't know who that is, that's one of the blog 6 on Discord's domain. White Lion. I see what you're doing there. But anyway, moving along here. This next one is titled Bussy's OC. Again, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Just give you a little bit. Quote, I did a little contest in a live stream and Bussy won. So here is his OC. Yeah, I think that is something concerning a Minecraft style pick and shovel as a cutie mark. So for those of you who play Minecraft, might talk to this guy. Toilet is magic. Minecraft. Or is that Minecraft? All right. All right. Which one do I want to go with here? Okay, I'll go with this one. For those of you who enjoy a little shipping, this one's right up your alley. This one is titled Aria Skybrush OTP. It's just a little drawing he did for Aria. Well, the pony, anyway. Yeah, for Aria. I don't know who that is, but like I said, you might like it. Shipping via cargo plane. Mr. Ben, FedEx UPS one true ship. And then the USPS gets left out in the cold. It should be a marketing campaign. You see, this is why I allow audience participation, and I watch it. Because you never know when you guys are just going to make me happy. And that's a good thing. That's all good. All right, let's finish up VFX here with Hurricane Fluttershy. For those of you wondering, yes. This is the same image he used on that video earlier. He basically drew this piece for his musical piece. My artwork for my own song. White Lion, you make a good point. Shoot, they even say, they even call it a tornado and whatnot. Agreed. Agreed, Mr. Ben. Anyway, there's a reason that I've been keeping my eye on him for a long time, and this is the kind of stuff, people. Go look at his early stuff, and now go look at this stuff. White Lion, I already gave you the link to the song. Plus, it's in the description, so you can find it there. But anyway, as I was saying, the thing I love about watching artists, folks, and I'm going to say this time and time again, you watch them start out, and they're, I'm not very good, but here's some stuff to keep you going. And you just watch them progress and progress and get better and better. And then you're like me, who gets to report on this kind of thing. And even if you're not me and you can't report on it, I find it just fun watching them, just watching them on DA and watching them becoming better artists. It's just, there's something special to it. For those of you who do that kind of thing, you know exactly what I'm referring to. For those of you who don't, give it a shot. You won't be disappointed. I gave it to you. And got a few more here left. Got 1, 2, 5 pieces left. This next one is by a new guy named Antiander. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Antiander's Forever Yours. Take a look at this, folks. Another one of these artists that has a very unique style to it. This almost looks, I want to say, Mr. Ben, I want to say a very anime-esque one, but he's got his own style. But I saw this one, when I was handed this one, I think, Twy, was it you who handed this to me? I think it was. And anyway, he handed this to me, and I just said, that's not a contest. This is so going on the show. And I am more than happy to post this one on here. This guy knew exactly what he was doing, and it shows easily. And as I've said time and time again, I don't hate it when people make their own unique take on the pony form. I really don't. I mean, look at Amino, for crying out loud. But this is, again, one of those cases where you see it and you just go, I got to show this. This one? All right, let's move on, folks. All right, let's go with Toxic Mario here. Now, yeah, I said I had only one comic, and while that's still true, Toxic Mario does not have any comics, so before anyone jumps on me about that. This first one is titled The Next Level. For those of you who haven't been following him or following us on the show for a long time, Toxic Mario has been doing this series of Dragon Ball Z style ponies, wherein he takes a scene from Dragon Ball Z and basically adopts a pony to it. In this case, it's Fluttershy, his third, if I recall right, third in the series. He's done Dash, Twy, and now Fluttershy. He's working on Rarity, last I recall. But anyway, yeah, I intentionally took it out, Twy. When I do videos in art, I intentionally take my video feed out. I'll bring it back up when we start discussing the part we were talking about. Quote, "This is not a defensive pose. Rather, it's a power-up pose. If you check it out in the Goku versus Cell fight, you can't miss it. Couldn't think of an attack to fit Fluttershy, so I went power-up. Yes, I gave her the Super Saiyan aura, just because it's been parodied so much in the fandom from a He's a Minotaur scene." For those of you who don't know what they're talking about, search, where is it? You can probably just search He's a Minotaur and find this Super Saiyan aura around Fluttershy, you know, when she screams it. But on the on the subject of the picture, Tox's picture here, I love it just because it's a great nostalgia trip, and I love the whole combination of Dragon Ball Z with ponies. Of course, I'm waiting for, he's doing Rarity next, like I said. I'm interested in seeing what he has planned for her. I think he said it was the final Flash attack. I think. But anyway, keep up the good work, Tox, because we love this stuff. Could be Candiru. Could be. So would she be Mystic level? But wait a minute, Mystic level had their normal hair color, but a blue aura. So I'm guessing the reason he didn't put yellow hair with Fluttershy is because of the fact that her coat is already yellow. So it would just look, you'd be going, huh? Take care, Adam. Anyway, let's move on here. No, that was from, anyone remember the Boo saga when the ancient Supreme Kai did that ritual with Gohan, so he became Mystic level? That's what I'm referring to. Anyway, moving along here. This Wereluna design tee of his, for those of you who don't know, he created the Wereluna, this design, and it's been immensely popular. People can't get enough of it. So, for those of you who want it on a t-shirt, it finally got approved by We Love Fine, and is now available. Quote, "Anyway, I told you I'd be getting back into reselling Wereluna again. This is just a sample of the new stuff I'm planning with her. Still shocked what turned from a funny Halloween thing from October 2011 has now turned into one of my most popular things. I love drawing her, so if you want a shirt, scoop it up." End quote. There is a link to it in the description. There's the link to the shirt. Yeah, Rainbow Ash didn't do much, but hey, I'm just reporting what I remember. Anyway, like I said, if you want it, check it out. Speaking of a retrospect, any of you 90s kids, you're going to know this one right off the bat. Next one is titled Celestia Frank by Disfigured Stick. For those of you who have absolutely no idea what I'm referring to, Lisa Frank was a hugely popular thing in the early to mid 90s. Well, most of it anyway. Most of the 90s anyway. But the point is that I saw this one and I just went, I gotta put this one just for the nostalgia factor. So, here's the link. And Disfigured Stick, all I gotta say is thank you for this. Twy is magic. I'm just kind of letting this one speak for itself, folks. Howdy, Michael. All right. Got one more, and that's the comic. Comic is by titled Rainbow Dash's Flying School by K Turtle. Let's see if I can't do any of this. I'm just trying to see which size is best, folks. I think I'll just leave it as is. All right. Oh, you want it closer? Okay. I'll go full screen. More epic proportions. More epic voice acting by epic proportions. Sorry. Carrying on here, folks. Give me a minute. I'm just trying to get the voices in my head. That does help. Hey, Scootaloo, ready for a lesson? No, that's terrible. Hey, Scootaloo, ready for a lesson? Sure am, Rainbow Dash. By the way, you've got a classmate. Hi, Scootaloo. Wow, Princess Twilight. Okay, let's get started. First, spread your wings. Wait! What? First, we need to study the basics. Oh, come on, Twilight. What's the matter? No offense, but you can't learn to fly from a book. I learned how to beat you in Running of the Leaves from a book. That's different. Applejack kept tripping me. Yeah, and you did the same to her. That's beside the point. Oh, that's what I've been doing wrong. Swoosh. Watch her swoosh right off. Swoosh. Ugh. One of these days, I swear, people, I'm just going to be, I'm just going to have these voices nailed, and I mean to the point of you're going to be you're not going to be able to distinguish it from the real voice actors. One, two, three. There's the link, and that's all we've got for content. And then if I double check here, yeah, that's it for content. So let's get to the meat and bones of this, shall we? So as we have it here now, it's a discussion episode. We're here to discuss some of the ancient history of the Ponyverse, and kind of more or less just speculate at this point on stuff. Because I can, before you guys ask. I like it a little bit smaller. Yeah, there we go. So you don't need it that big. I'm not saying it was Alicorns, but it was aliens. Alright, let's get started, folks. First of all, some of the notes I've been coming across here in some of the research. Originally, the Royal Sisters, I say Royal Sisters as Celestia and Luna. So from here on out, unless I say otherwise, when I say the Royal Sisters, I'm referring to Celestia and Luna. Originally, they weren't supposed to have parents. So this just begs the question from the get-go. Where did they come from, or how did they get there? You guys have any ideas on that? That actually might be just it, Mr. Ben. That they were something akin to Arceus. However, if you guys recall from the Hearthwarming Eve, they said long before the peaceful rule of Celestia and Luna. So it again begs the question, how did they get there in the first place? Stupid sexy CJ, that's a point. That's a good point. Created by Arceus. And maybe you were onto something there, Twilight is Magic, that maybe they were once regular ponies who became alicorns. Oh, I do have to give this bit of a warning here, folks. There will be some spoilers here concerning one of the comic books in this chat. I'll try my best to keep them to a minimum. However, I not only promise you nothing, but I promise you nothing, and I just warn you. I'll try and bring that up. I'll do this when I start them, and this when I end them. I'll give you like a minute or two to stop. So anyway, let's carry on. As we said, there was a time before Celestia and Luna. There was a time that they weren't there, as discussed in Hearthwarming Eve. And yes, given that it's canon, I do consider that, well, canon, factual. So I do, again, ask the question, where do you guys think they came from? Yeah, I do think it's so hard to say because it begs the question, the Royal Sisters there's something different to them concerning them versus the other Alicorns in the show. That's a potential, Rainbow Ash. We do know they were, of course, Alicorns all throughout all the time they've been saying they were, all throughout the old history that they were there. Discord, Sombra, the Nightmare Moon incident, the first time around. So it's certainly possible that there's something that they aren't talking about here. I don't know what to say to that, Twilight is Magic. Well, it's certainly possible because given what evidence we've seen concerning Alicorns, none of them are born yet. They are all reshaped or remade into them. But again, it's Celestia and Luna here who are the oddballs of this. why are they? And especially have to ask the question of, are they immortal? And the reason, one of the biggest reasons being, it's the sole fact that we have so little to go with on here that it's tricky. That it begs the question, just how different are the Royal Sisters versus the other Alicorns? And yeah, Michael, we'll get into that in a second. So now, unfortunately, I don't think we can. I don't know if we can at this point successfully say who or what, or I don't think there's enough evidence to say where they came from. Strategy, that makes a good point. It begs the question, though, then why would they be there if, well, I'm beginning to just buy the idea of they just existed. Wait, no, I'm not. I'm sorry. The point I'm trying to make is that they had the unicorns beforehand, changing night and day. Yeah, there had to have been some changing of the guard at some point, just after the heartwarming Eve incident. You know, but of course they haven't gone upon that, and now it begs the question: do you even think it's going to be to be elaborated on? That's what I'm asking for. I don't think so. Strategy, like I said, I think the heartwarming Eve tale is. I consider it, like I said, full canon, and they even say it's how the founding of Equestria was made. Sure, it's there are legends to how the Mississippi River was formed. There are legends to how there are all sorts of legends concerning a lot of things in our world that aren't true, but they're cute stories. But you'd think that if you're putting on a play about something, like the founding of the entire kingdom of Equestria, you'd keep that rather factual, especially given how well played it was done, or at least I say well played in the sense of nothing seemed out of place. That's what I'm referring to. All right. Since I think, like I said, unfortunately, I don't think we can answer the question of where the Royal Sisters fall into, existence. Were they born Alicorns or were they not? We'll get back to them in a little bit when we get to Twilight and Cadence, but for now, I do have to ask the question again. Do you guys think the Royal Sisters are immortal? So you think semi-immortality, stupid, sexy CJ? Semi-immortality would be they can't age, but they can be killed by they can be killed like by disease or the sword. And then this begs another question. Are all Alicorns immortal? I know this is a big question that everyone's been throwing out on DA art pages and discussion posts, like on Discord's domain or EQD. that that they what is it I'm trying to say? That because Twilight is an Alicorn, that she's now immortal. So what do you guys think about that? And I'll get to that in a second, Dark Horse. But concerning just the Royal Sisters, okay. I do think there's, at the very least, something. Go ahead, Discord. But in the meantime, I'm going to say my piece. I don't know if they are. That's just what I was going to say there, Mr. Ben. I was going to say that Celestia and Luna do give off the idea of, at the very least, semi-immortality and the potential of immortality. However, there's something I will point out here. Living a long time is not the same as immortality. So, just something to think about. I think you're right, Michael. I do think the Royal Sisters are special Alicorns. And that might be because they have a duty of sun and moon raising and lowering, or maybe it's because because they're rulers of the place, that they're somehow bestowed some sort of specialty to them. But who knows? Rainbow Ash. But let's talk about Twilight and Cadence now. And spoilers. Giving you guys a minute. Yeah, Discord, I read it, but there really wasn't much to it. You just stated a fact. And as I pointed out, there's a difference between living a long time and there's a difference between living a long time and being immortal. Yeah, you can Rainbow Ash. You have to order it, but or most of the chance order it. But yeah, I found how do I put this? In my research, one of the sources I used was the book itself. So you can find the book. Anyway, as I was saying, concerning Twilight and Cadence, they had to earn their Alicorn hood. They were not originally born Alicorns, so they had to have some way of getting it. Now I won't say exactly how Cadence got it, so as to avoid the spoilers. But what I will say is that I'm just reading the text here. Anyway, as I was saying, as we were questioning here, how did Celestia and Luna get it? But let's avoid that for now, since that's probably just going to lead us down a road to nowhere here. But anyway, as I was saying, Twilight and Cadence needed to earn their Alicorn hood. So this begs the question, is that how all other Alicorns are made? What do you guys think? Nothing up to this point has suggested that alicorns can be, what's the word? Conceived. That's what I'm looking for. They have to be made after they are born something else. That's a potential, Panda. Executive meddling. Something like that. I think you're right, Obsidian. I think all of those saying that there's some kind of prerequisite that has to be fulfilled. I was just going to say that, Mr. Ben. Some of the notes, just something I want to bring up here, folks. Originally stating, Celestia in particular was designed to be the embodiment of all the traits of the three all other three races. She could fly, use magic, and had all the abilities of an Earth pony. Ergo, you can think of Celestia as the entire embodiment of everything. Actually, yes, they are, Brony Sith. Dark Horse. But as I was saying, in some of the other notes I found, that was basically the idea, is that the Alicorn was the embodiment of all three of the other pony races. Basically, an amalgamation of all three into one. So it begs the question then, are all Alicorns like that then? I'd say yes. I mean, given what's going to happen to Twilight here, she can now walk on clouds without spells, and more importantly, just fly with wings. You can think of it something like that, Gildash. There's another question concerning Twi and Cadence. Do you guys think they're immortal? Sea ponies. I don't think they are immortal, and here's why. While certainly age spells are an option, but the biggest evidence to say nay to immortality is we've seen Cadence in two separate physical ages, despite being an Alicorn. The first one being her when she was the full sitter, and now her as the ruler and wife. So this suggests that she does age. As such, if she ages, chances are good she dies. Stupid Sexy CJ, there's a bit of there are two descriptions for that I have found. One of them comes from Ms. Faust herself. Now this is only speculation, and this was only her explanation after the events of. This was just before season 2, episode 4, Nightmare Night, aired. What Ms. Faust stated was that what we saw Luna in season 1 at was basically her with a huge magic drain. Basically, there was virtually no magic in her. In the season 2 version and beyond, that's basically her return to form, normalcy, blah blah blah. That's a potential, Panda. It really is something like the Avatar series. Obsidian, elaborate. By the way, for those of you wondering, the other explanation might be just an animation inconsistency. Originally, Luna wasn't supposed to be shown much, but they incorporated her in a little later and changed her design to be a little bit more in tune with Celestia's. Okay, Obsidian, I see what you're getting at. Well, that would explain where Luna Twilight is magic. Let's talk about age spells here for a second, folks. Now, of course, we've seen them exist, but there's a yeah, Obsidian. That's kind of what I was referring to. Strategy. And that's kind of what I and Ms. Faust was talking about, Panda. Of course, the show never elaborated on it. I wish they did and or would. But we'll see. But let's talk about age spells here for a sec, folks. There's a question that needs to be asked here concerning them. Do they only work on you physically, or do they work on you wholly? Wholly, for the record. Or Wholey. I am not a good speller. Anyway, as I was saying, what do I mean by this? Meaning that if you were to accelerate your age to, say, 20 years in the future, is it only an outside physical appearance, not a complete 20-year jump, is what I'm referring to. The reverse would also work here. As such, age spells would be yeah, Twilight is magic. They're not time spells. They're just a physical alteration, not a complete reversal or fast forward of time. That's what I'm referring to. Good point, Panda. But what do you guys think about these age spells? But the point I'm trying to make is are age spells a possibility for immortality? That's the argument I'm trying to make here. Go on, Venher. Physical can work on things like the brain and heart, but the point I'm trying to make is that you can't age spell yourself infinitely, that at some point you do die. That's the argument I'm trying to make. That's the argument I'm trying to make, Rainbow Ash, is that it works kind of like makeup. You're only hiding something. You're only, just in this case, age spells would be a really good makeup. They just hide something or they help with something, but they don't, for lack of better terms here, solve the problem. Like I said, it'd be kind of like applying makeup on yourself indefinitely, trying to hide a wrinkle or two. but ultimately at some point the wrinkles will show through no matter how much makeup you have on. As such, age spells work the same way. You can keep aging yourself backwards to a certain point, but at some point you're still going to die because some other biological factor works into it that is unaffected by time. As such, it'll eventually kill you. So again, I'm just interested in some of the ideas you guys have here concerning this. And like I said, the age spell would work on things like bones and the heart and the mind. So that, again, who was it who said it? It'd be a really good strategy, said it. Just a fancy name for a special kind of illusion spell. Carry on, Dark Horse. And again, that's the very argument I'm trying to make. That's a potential too, Dark Horse. Go on, Mr. Ben. They don't die, they just regenerate. I'm guessing it, yeah, something like a phoenix then. It's certainly possible. There's certainly nothing wrong with that idea. Though one begs the question, okay, no, they don't. They could hide it very well. I think that's going to fall into the guise of we'll never know. However, it does bring up a good point. Something that is feasible. Phoenix Lord. If Celestia were to regenerate like a Time Lord, then you'd think manuscripts would show a difference in her physical appearance. So that's why I think I decide more with the Phoenix regeneration style. uh, we kind of already touched over on something, but there was something that I wanted to hit. Oh, I know. Um, another drawing idea. Question for all of you. Why is it Cadence and Twilight who earned Alicorn Hood? Why not, I don't know, pick your favorite. Pick a pony. Why is it that only these two have achieved Alicorn Hood versus others? Exactly. Okay, Gildash. I think you're right on that, Obsidian. I think you're right. They're holographic. A Destiny Mark Gildash? That might be by choice of the animator of the show staff, but it does raise an interesting question. That's a possibility too, Twilight is Magic. But then it begs the question of it begs a philosophical question of free will versus destiny. Now I know you're thinking, Twilight again. Go back to Twilight. She was uh, picked by Celestia and basically groomed from the get-go. But again, Cadence kind of throws us a curveball here. But they were in that stained glass painting, Twilight is Magic. They were Alicorns in defeating Discord. And all the time that we've seen them, they have. Okay, I see what you mean. But it still begs the question of they could have been Alicorns the whole time, and they could have even gotten it beforehand. This is kind of going back to that first discussion we were having. Okay, I see what you're getting at here. I see what you're getting at here, and that's certainly a potential. The problem is that again, this kind of is where does it fall into the timeline? I'm not trying to discredit you. You have a good point. I'm trying to say, was Discord the first thing that they faced? Sombra could have been the first thing the ponies faced and defeated. Then then Discord, or it could have been Discord then Sombra. I think you're right. I do think Discord was the first one. Did I get that backwards, Mr. Ben? That's just my point, Twilight is Magic. Like I said, there's no timeline. They just say 1,000 years ago. So that means either one could have been first. Either way, though, they have to. Which came first, the Discord or the Sombra? They have the Pope. So it's certainly possible that either no, Sombra would have had to have been them. If yeah, I think Mr. Ben said it. By Twilight is Magic's theory, they would have had to have faced Discord first because all throughout the entire bit we see with them versus Sombra, they're Alicorns. At the same time. Cloning magic at its finest. Okay, fair enough, Panda. Yeah, and that's kind of the point here. Yeah, it was Twilight. They say it in the where do they say it? It would have had to have been because Luna was there, if more than anything, because there's no way that there is no way that they could have faced Discord after Luna's banishment. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, no kidding strategy. Going to be taking a bit of a detour here. Some of the stuff I got talking to about with a friend of mine concerning this very subject. What of the Everfree Forest? Now, I know Mr. Ben in particular, we went over this a while ago, but I want to focus mostly on where does that fall into the timeline? Alex M. But the Everfree Forest, as we know, it has the Sisters Royal Palace in it. So it begs the question: what were they doing there in the first place? Gildash. Agreed. Agreed. Twilight's Magic. You're right. It's the Royal Sisters Palace. So what was it doing there? Maybe it was the original place that they maybe it's where the ponies originally were, going back to the Hearthwarming Eve story. Maybe that's where they originally were, and as you know, they suggested they moved to Equestria, so those frozen lands were abandoned. And while, of course, the Wendigos left, or could have left anyway, what happened was is the place just got abandoned, untended to, and some strange, funky magic happened, and poof, sprung up. Weeping Pegasi 82. That's a good point too. That certainly could happen. Yeah, some sort of magical fallout. People have been saying that perhaps the Everfree Forest wasn't the big dark spooky place that it was once, and I do have to agree with them on this. There's nothing to suggest that it wasn't, or that it was or wasn't. Panda. Somehow, some way, there is a potential, like I said, that the Everfree Forest was unkept, or it was it was originally normal, but something happened to it that it could have corrupted it or changed it or done something to it. So, in other words, some sort of kind of like some kind of negation effect. Twilight is magic. Is that what you're saying? Which I'm gonna blend Dark Horse and Twilight is Magic's explanation here. Yeah, I think you guys are right that there's some kind of magical fallout or some kind of magical negation or some strange magic anyway that caused the forest to become, well, what it is. So we have these oddball magical creatures like Ursas, Timberwolves, and the like, and these strange magical plants and whatnot, and of course how the entire ecosystem itself is unaffected by what the ponies consider normal. You know, them taking care of the plants, them taking care of the weather, etc. That's a potential too, Panda. But in that same breath, we actually know that it's dangerous in there. We've seen things in there. Because a change of the guard, Mr. Ben. That's a good point, Gildash. In which case, oh, you were saying that to Panda. Never mind. But yeah, I agree with you, and that's kind of what we were all um, getting at. If anything, just a change of the guard probably restored it. Kind of like a reset on the computer. Sometimes you got to reset it to boot up a new program or just to fix something, etc. Change of the guard would be under the same guise. I didn't say well because they were never needed. Rainbow Ash. No one needed them until Nightmare Moon appeared. There was nothing. Well, no, that was before. Never mind. It's like I said, it's all a potential, and all we're doing here is just speculating. But that's the fun of this stuff. Carry on. Again, this begs the question of free will versus destiny. Then, Mr. Ben, it's certainly possible. That's a good point too, Obsidian. Strategy. So here's another question for you guys to consider. We know the royal sisters' palace was in the Everfree Forest. Why did they leave it? Of course, this is going to beg the question of did they leave it because the Everfree Forest became the Everfree Forest we all know? Okay, I'm reading your comment there, Gildash. Anyways, I was saying, did the Everfree Forest become the Everfree Forest and they left? Or did they leave and the Everfree Forest become the Everfree Forest? What are your guys' thoughts on that? That's certainly a potential Twilight is Magic. I mean, when we saw it, it was in shambles, and there's architecture that's lasted thousands of years in our world. So, if it was well done architecture, that palace could still be relatively stable, assuming that it isn't, something like a storm or, in this case, pony hooves come through and destroy it. Hope I'm pronouncing your name right. Kinixes? I think you're onto something. That's a potential too. Strategy, that's a good point too. I think you hit the nail on the head there, Mr. Ben. That that was Celeste. That was originally Luna's palace or something anyway concerning it. That eventually the elements were left there, and well, we got the end result. I certainly wouldn't be shocked if they ever elaborate on the whole Nightmare Moon incident. I remember very distinctly, but I can't remember where the details were exactly. It was at some con. I remember that. Like last year or something. Anyway, I remember them saying that I think, I'm going to say that again, I think, they wanted to elaborate on the Nightmare Moon incident. If they will, of course, that remains to be determined. I sure hope they do. That'd be a great story. Night, Michael. Doesn't mean it can't be restored, Mr. Ben. Maybe it was a name change. Nothing is to give the suggestion that Discord is part of a separate species. Um, Always Sales. Hope I'm pronouncing that name correctly. It seems we've come to the conclusion that it's probably something akin to the Nightmare Moon incident. That somehow, some way, there was some kind of some that has something to do with it, and I think you guys are correct on that. I do think that it's certainly possible that the Everfree Forest could have been the Everfree Forest the whole time, but I think you guys are hitting the nail on the head when you say the that there's something to do either with magical fallout or there's something to do with the elements of harmony as some kind of magical negation, magical strange magic things kind of bit. It's certainly very possible. And again, I don't think we're ever going to truly wholly know the answer to that until they elaborate on it. But hey, part of the fun of this show is speculation, and talks like this are things that we do. It certainly is a potential Twilight is magic. The clone pool? Yeah, I was reading your lines there. You were using that as evidence for to say it was populated or not. I don't think so. I don't think that's evidence to say if the Everfree Forest was populated or not. I do think that I do think that yeah, it could be just a natural occurrence. Weird and, strange magic, again, kind of that magical fallout type of thing. But I don't think that's any indication of population, given that there's already strange magic in the forest itself. Just because it's known doesn't mean that it was created by pony hooves. That too, Mr. Ben, that too. It's about all I have for notes and whatnot. Do you guys have anything else you want to say concerning Alicorns and the Everfree Forest, folks? Carry on, Panda. I didn't see it. I don't think it's a trap, Discord. I think it's, again, as we've been discussing, just kind of some weird. There's some funky magic going on there that we're not aware of. But anyway, Panda, re-ask your question, please, so I can see it. Why is it named Everfree? This could be a meta reason that um, they're using the show staff can use it as a plot device for whatever reason, if, as a last ditch resort or something. It's certainly a potential. But I know what you're asking. You're asking from an in-world explanation. It could be because it will always be free of the natural laws of Equestria. That it's not supposed to be what they would call normal. That's the best that I've got of it, because it's unless they give me some other reason, but that's the best I can come up with. Agreed, Gildash. Hey, there is such thing as irony, Panda. That's half the fun of it, Mr. Ben. It's a fantasy world. Now you're just overthinking, people. Sagas, welcome to Philosophy 102. Welcome to philosophy, where everything's made up and the viewpoints don't matter. That's right, the viewpoints are just like an instruction manual to to an Ethernet cable. It just doesn't matter. All right. Since we seem to be diverging and whatnot, I think we'll wrap it up here. Plus, we're about done for time. So, don't forget, folks, to vote in the... Don't forget to vote on the Doctor Who page. We have it on our website, babblewithbronies.tripod.com. I can get you the link if you want it. I'll see what I can do about it, throwing an announcement in there at some point later on. But check the website. You know what? I'll bring it up for you guys. It's at the top of the page. You can't miss it. There's the website. Check it out. Vote on the Doctor Who episode. And hope you. I can't wait till we get to that day. I'm really looking forward to it because I've been looking forward to it for quite some time now. Anything my co-hosts, my co-workers, I should say. Do you guys have anything to say? I plan on Gildash. I really do. Why next Wednesday, Mr. Ben? Oh, Weeping Angel, eh, Discord? We're not broadcasting next Wednesday, Mr. Ben. We're broadcasting on normal time. Next episode... Oh, actually, I thank you for reminding me. Next episode will be broadcasting on the 24th. I will say that again. The 24th, that Sunday, we'll be resuming our normal schedule. So, see you guys next Sunday. Should have the announcements. I'm planning an interview that day. I won't say who. I never say who until the Wednesday episode announcement. Yeah, this is why I wanted to do a Wednesday episode, because the 10th I wasn't broadcasting, and the 17th I won't be broadcasting either. I wouldn't be broadcasting on the 17th anyway because of various reasons. But no, we are not broadcasting on the 20th. We are resuming our normal schedule afterwards. The 24th, the 31st, and from there on out we'll be just going straight down the list on Sunday until, I don't know, the next schedule conflict comes up, but I don't know when that will be, nor do I really care at this point. Anyway, let's wrap this up here. For Babble with Bronies, I am Everlasting Joy, and my co-workers, Mr. Ben and Twilight is Magic. I want to thank you all for coming. And in the meantime, farewell.